Have Mercedes just been caught cheating throughout the Chinese Grand Prix? Well, that's exactly what it looks like. As this shot taken from FP1 shows George Russell's W17 not closing their active area on the front wing in the allocated time as written in the technical regs. This of course will naturally come with benefits by intentionally doing this. But what exactly would those benefits be? Not only that, but how are they doing it? And can the FIA intervene ahead of or at the beginning of the Japanese Grand Prix weekend? Let's discuss. Now to begin with, if you're a Mercedes fan and you're watching this video, you may leap to their defense and say, well, it doesn't really matter. This was only FP1, right? Wrong. This happened through every session across the Chinese Grand Prix weekend. You've just seen FP1. Now here's sprint quali, the sprint race, main quali, and the main Grand Prix on Sunday. There is no doubt in my mind Mercedes are intentionally doing this. But a bigger question is why? What gains have Mercedes found by purposely slowing down their front wing's active area from going back into corner mode? Well, there are a number of advantages from doing this. For example, it does help with regen, the method in current day F1 that helps to recharge the energy for the next set of corners that it will be used in, as the slowing down process will shift the aero balance rearwards and provide additional load at the rear end to increase the regen volume achieved. And perhaps the balance shift also to the rearwards has a secondary benefit of helping the drivers under braking. Keep in mind, this was only seen in use on the back straight of the lap, on the braking phase of the huge mile plus straight. At no other point on the circuit did they actually utilize this trick. So that goes to show it was a targeted corner and done on the most important one for regen. I could even see them doing this later on in the season on the pit straight in Monza, for example, as this would be hugely beneficial around that circuit as well, and of course a whole host of other circuits with long straights. Let's now cover how Mercedes are actually doing this trick with their front wing next, and it's time for a technical lesson. Formula 1 rings have undergone major changes in the past 8 years. If you look from a front wing of 2018, again the Mercedes one, up until present day. And this photo on screen right now is the first image, I believe, of the internals of a 2026 Formula 1 front wing. Here you can see the connectors and the active cruise control actuator mechanism. These are what makes all of the front wings in this new era go from attack mode into corner mode essentially. And this is where Mercedes' neat trick is coming into play. It can get very, very technical. But essentially Mercedes within their system, which will be slightly different to the one we've just seen from Audi and a bit more sophisticated I would imagine. Hence they've been able to actually introduce a intentional delay of the closing of their front wing from attack mode back to corner mode. So having learned how Mercedes are doing this, is it actually legal? The answer to that is simply no, it's not, especially if you read the technical regs as it's currently written. So then that begs the question, what can the FIA do to intervene with this issue? Actually, on top of that, will they even bother doing anything with it? Because it doesn't seem like any team has noticed it or filed a complaint with them. But anyway, so we know the next race is in Japan, the Japanese Grand Prix, and there is a week from today until we're in Japan for the first practice session, literally on this very day next week. Now there are a number of things the FIA can do with Joe Bauer on the ground there. They can literally just go to Mercedes, tell them, look, we saw what you were doing in China, in every single practice session, every race session, every quali session, and it was always in that one part of the track. Can you explain to us what you were doing, why that was happening? And if they don't get a satisfactory kind of explanation from Mercedes, they can, of course, enforce them and tell them, look, you have to stop doing that, because it's quite simple and quite clear. They were never doing this in pre-season testing in Barcelona, in Bahrain, They didn't occur in Australia. It was only in China as far as I'm aware. And it could quite simply be they only do this when it's a huge back straight that they can actually implement this rule. So that would then equate to China. You have Monza. You have Las Vegas, that big long straight. That will be another major area for regen braking. These are the sorts of circuits which this could be utilized in. And now that it's going to actually be put to the FIA's attention, probably, they will have to do something about it. Well, we presume so. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We thought they would do something really with the compression ratio that we've all known about for ages, but that has gone nowhere as well. So we really don't even know whether that's going to be the case with them actually going to Mercedes and asking them what was going on last weekend in China. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, and what it does is it gives them another unfair advantage over their rivals. First is the compression ratio trick. Now they have a new method through which to improve upon the regen braking in big major stopping zones. So they're going to flipping harvest more than these other teams like Ferrari, their main rivals this season. It's looking like it's going to be. So they're able to get a higher percentage of regen braking, which then lets them use that energy a little bit more on the next set of straights that they want to use this energy. And it's just going to give them that little bit of a kind of wiggle room in terms of being able to have a bigger margin for defense, or in some probable cases attacking the Ferrari cars, particularly if we look at how Grand Prix are starting out. Ferrari very much are on the upper hand. They get into the lead of the races with one if not two, and Mercedes has to come through the pack as a result of that, or through the two Ferraris, not the pack. So I think there's a lot of interesting aspects at play here. Whether the FIA actually intervene and do something about it, I don't know. Only time will tell. We'll have to see what happens, and we have to watch this space. And that is the Mercedes controversy wrapped up in one video. Hope everyone has enjoyed this video. If you have, do leave a like on it. Hit the subscribe button down below and turn on notifications for all future content here on F1 Tech Unraveled. Alright, enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch you all across the Japanese Grand Prix weekend. See you shortly.